to you,
Yeah,
Jamie.
on northern Gaza, Matt, I know last week it was said the Israeli government told you guys they aren't instituting the so-called general's plan, but what is the U.S. assessment of whether Israel is intentionally carrying out a policy of starvation and displacement in northern Gaza?
So I'll just say what the secretary said. He raised this directly with the prime minister and other members of the Israeli government. They said to us that they are not carrying out the so-called general's plan. I will just say that they should speak to what they're carrying out. We would clearly reject any effort to create a siege, to starve civilians, to wall northern Gaza off from the rest of Gaza. We would fundamentally reject that in every way. And we've made clear to them that we want to see humanitarian assistance make it to civilians. We want to see civilians protected. And as you know, the secretary sent a letter to the government of Israel several weeks ago laying out a number of specific steps that we want to see them take to get humanitarian assistance to the hands of people that need it.
But the U.S. does not assess that this policy is being carried out in the north right now.
So
you do not have your own assessment.
I'm not going to make an assessment one way or the other. I'm going to tell you that the government of Israel can speak for itself about what they're trying to do. We are watching very closely. And we are making clear to them that they need to let civilians get access to humanitarian assistance.
And you said there's been some progress, but not enough. What progress have you actually seen in recent weeks, given that we have seen this catastrophic humanitarian situation only deepen?
So we have seen more trucks get in to Gaza. One day last week, there was something like 280 trucks that got into Gaza, which is obviously a significant expansion from the very low levels that we had been in September and earlier in October. We have seen some additional routes opened up for delivery of humanitarian assistance inside Gaza. We started to see them take some other steps when it comes to dealing with the humanitarian agencies. But they have not been enough. They haven't done all the things that we outlined in the letter. The secretary had a very detailed conversation with several government of Israel officials last week about the kind of granular actions that letter calls for them to take. And he was very clear that we expect you to take these actions, and we're willing to engage in dialogue with you about how best to do that. And we have been engaging in dialogue with them about how best to do that, both through our embassy and through Lise Grande, our special representative, and we'll continue to do that. But the bottom line ultimately is results, and we need to see better results than we see today.
And then last question, do you have any specific comment on the Israeli military operations in the Kamal Adwan hospital that we saw over the weekend?
I don't. I've seen the reports. Obviously, we want to see hospitals protected, but we do continue to see, without respect to this specific hospital, because I don't have an assessment to offer, we do continue to see Hamas hiding in civilian infrastructure, which is also something that's unacceptable. Yeah.